So this proposal that you're writing is not binding. And meaning, when you are given the scholarship, when you start your masters, you might, in fact, this is not even, they will not even ask you for this. They will ask you for a new proposal. Yeah, you are just doing this so that they know that you are competent and you have the ability to think, and find, see problems and find solutions to it. Yeah, you can do that excellently. For example, hear what they say. You can work. Okay, so the proposal you propose in this section is not binding. Just like I said, you can work on another subject you choose later in Turkey. However, the proposal you put forward in this section will be used to assess your ability to put forward the academic competency problems. Yeah, so that is it. So the first section here is talking about your subject of study. What are you what are you going to study about? What do you want to study about? Yeah. Now, the here is not talking about the masters you want to do. This is just a proposal. It's about the research you want to carry out. What is the research you want to carry out? Is it about disability and unemployment? Or is it about you want to know the effects of unemployment on women? So this is what they want. It's also, you can also, it's like in the previous application, in my application, they have two spaces for this. The first space is your subject of study. In the previous application, the one 2020, here you can put, for example, if you want to study about youth, you can you want to study about, for example, disability and how states coordinate to promote the rights of persons with disability. So you can put, for example, disability rights and international relations. Yeah. So that is your subject of study. Then later in the previous proposal, they said, okay, your working title. But here we only have the subject of study, which means your working title, the title of your research proposal. Is it, for example, you can say, okay, if you want to look at the impact of youth unemployment on female youth and persons with disability, you can say, okay, youth and unemployment, understanding the social and economic impact of youth unemployment on female youth and persons with disability. This can be your working title. Then you can come down and say, research question. What is your research question? What is this question that you want to answer with your research? For example, you can say, you are just going to coin your topic in a question format. What are the social and economic impact of youth unemployment on female youth and youth with disability? Perfect. This is your research question. Then you can come to the analysis of the problem. So now what is the problem? Here, the problem in any research proposal is a reason, first of all, why you are carrying out the research. What is this problem that you have identified? Put it here. For example, you can say a lot of, for example, in the country, you can say if since the end of the war in my country or the conflict in my country, one of the problem has been youth unemployment. Why you can say why there has been efforts to address these issues. What has remained unaddressed remain how this youth unemployment affects female youth. Yeah, not only youth in general, but how does it specifically affect female youth and youth with disability economically and socially? So this is a problem. Yeah, so you put it here, then they know that this person knows what he's talking about. Then you come down after your problem. Normally your research problem comes before your research question. Yeah, but this is how they want it. So then you have to come to research methodology. So one thing I did not mention is this, that your subject of study, there's actually no word limit. But your research question must not be more than 15 words. Then your problem statement or analysis of the problem must not be more than 300 words. So you have to be economical to words. Then Your research question must not also be more than 300 words, and it should not be less than 50 words. So your research method, what is the research method in research? It's basically the method you will use to collect data to give an answer to your question you raised above. For example, you ask, what are the economic and social impacts of youth unemployment, on female youth, and youth with disability? How are you going to collect data? Are you going to interview female youth and youth with disability? Are you going to, or are you going to conduct a focus group discussion with them? Are you going to develop a questionnaire and send it to stakeholders, for example, government officials and organizations working on youth issues, to ask them questions, to fill them so that they can send it back to you? Or are you going to conduct a survey? So this is just what they want to know. How would you collect that data? Then you come to preliminary answer to your research question. Now, basically, research proposal has some research proposal has a hypothesis, which is like a tentative statement, answer to your research question. Now you ask, what are the impact, economic and social impact? So tell us briefly what you think are these economic and social impact. And so then the academic contribution of your study. How is this, what problem is this research going to solve? What is the importance of this research? Yeah, so tell us. For example, you can say definitely one of the importance is it is going to serve as a reference for other research. Other people who want to research are going to review your work as a literature. Yeah, it's going to feature in their literature. They are going to quote you. That's one. So it's going to add relevance to the academic literature or the discourse. Then secondly, the main problem you want to solve is about youth unemployment, the impact of youth unemployment. So your research will serve as a guide or as a policy recommendation to stakeholders. Yeah. So stakeholders who are mandated to solve unemployment issues. Yeah. So you can go on and on and on. It's up to you. Then the literature review. Here, usually the literature review comes after your problem or your topic. You do a literature, and you have to read and read and read, because the purpose of study or writing research is not to repeat what other people have done. So that is why you have to read a lot of literature so that you find a gap. What is it that these people have not written about? Yeah, about youth unemployment, so that I can write about it. Usually, in this literature, some of them give recommendations as to what future research to look at. So you look at them. So, but here you are just going to write the title of the literatures you look at. Yeah, you see literature review. Please write down the main academic sources written in this study area. Yeah? So give them the major academic sources around youth unemployment, people who have written. So give them the title here. Then the last one here is additional, which is not related to the research proposal. Now, if you have any other thing you want them to know, you have to state it here. For example, if you submitted a document that is not complete in this application process, you have to tell them that I submitted a document which is not the actual document. It is a temporary document, but after 2 months I will have the original document. For example, your degree, if your degree is not available but you have your statement of result, you can put it there and you can tell them that I will submit it later. You will come later and submit, or in the interview you will submit it to them. So for example, if you have a subject in your application document that you think is not clear enough and you want to explain, if you want to draw attention to the evaluation committee, please explain this. So if you have anything you want the evaluation committee to know, or if you have done something within the application you want them to know, you want them to add something to it so that you can draw the attention to it, put it here. Yeah. So now let's go and look at an example of the research proposal. Yeah. So let's look at the research proposal I wrote. Like I said, this is the subject of study. Yeah. This is what you put in the subject of study. Youth and unemployment, understanding the economic and social effect of youth unemployment on female and disabled youth in Sierra Leone. So basically, this is then there's a place where they ask you for a research question. Okay, so this is a problem statement. If I was applying for the scholarship, I would just copy this and paste it there. Yeah. So you've done your work, you just need to copy and paste. So this is a research question. I'll just copy this also and paste it. What are the economic and social effects of youth unemployment on female youths and youth with disability in Sierra Leone? Simple. Yeah. So of course they did not ask for aim and objective. They only ask for the significance. You see? I said the research will, one, contribute to the existing literature. Yeah. Then second, provide a new perspective on how to look at youth unemployment from a gender and disabled lenses. Yeah. Since the discourse has mostly focused on the abled male gender over the years. Yeah. So my research will also serve as a guiding tool for reference by decision policymakers in respect of addressing youth unemployment. It will also provide a comprehensive and concrete approach to addressing youth unemployment. Now the methodology. So this is a section. What is my population size? My population and sample size. Sorry, my population is definitely the youthful population between 15 to 35. So within this youthful population, my sample is female youth and youth with disability. This is my sample. Yeah. Then within it, I will have to talk to government institution, which is the Ministry of Social Welfare, Ministry of Youth Affairs, National Youth Commission, Youth Service, National Youth Commission, Gender and Disability Commission, Technical and Vocational Education Training Center, of course, United Nations Development Program. Then I will also talk to Humanity and Inclusion, which is Handicap International. Then I will also talk to NGOs and working on local NGOs working on disabled and gender issues. For example, the Sierra Leone Union of Disability, working on disability issues. Yeah. So this is then I gave a table here explaining these people and how many people I will interview. For example, from the Ministry of Social Welfare, how many people who will I interview? I can interview either the minister or the deputy or the permanent secretary or any director. So I just need to talk to one person there. Ministry of Youth is the same as above, and I will just talk to one person there. So these are the key respondent interviews. Then I come down to these people. They come down to the general respondent, which is the youth, the female youth, and the persons with disability themselves. So this is a random. I adopted a random sampling method. That is like a national research I'm going to do. So I wanted at least every part of the country to benefit. So for example, Western area and urban, which is a capital, I'll talk to 65 interviews. I'll talk to 65 respondents. So 35 of these should be female youths and 30 of these should be disabled. Yeah, youth. Then Northwest Port I'll talk to, which is in the north, 55 people, 45 is female, and 10 is disabled. So it goes on and on and on. And north, which is in the north, of course, then the south and the east, and the total interviews is so 285. 215 of this is for female youth and 70 is for disabled youth. The reason why there is not an equal representation is because maybe you might not have as many disabled as you can, but of course there are so many female youths, you understand? So that is it. So basically this is what they are asking you to write. Then you, of course, they talked about research theory as well. What theory are you going to use that will guide your research? Yeah. So, for example, here's my theoretical framework. I said I will use two theoretical lenses. One, I will use the feminist theory and I will use the social model disability. Why did I use these theories? These theories are the ones talking about, one, the first one is talking about feminism, female, gender. It says if you want to understand youth unemployment or unemployment or female unemployment or unemployment anyway, you have to see it through the feminist lens. Yeah, and fortunately I'm looking at unemployment on youth, on female youth. So this theory can better help me to understand that. Then also the social model of disability, yeah, which is also saying society should should adjust so that they can they can provide solutions, they can provide help so that the persons with disability can be can be meaningful society members and can reach their potential. Yeah, so including providing employment opportunities. Yeah? So basically, this is my theory. So you have to tell them, if you don't know much about using theoretical perspective or theory in research, you have to read about it. Yeah. So basically, this is how. Then I think the last one is the literature. Yeah. Now they're not asking you to write a literature review. Here I wrote a literature review, but they're not asking you to write a literature review. Yeah. So these are the literatures I use. They're embedded within these subtopics, but here is the sample I give. This is just what they are asking you to give. This is a literature map. Let me. Okay, this is a literature map. Summary of all the literature I use. Yeah, so they are just asking you to give this literature. For example, Ariel User, 2015, she wrote on love and betrayal, the political economy of youth and violence in post-conflict Sierra Leone, and Sise Hassan wrote on this youth and disability. So they're just asking you to give the major literature in the field, yeah, that you want to study. So basically, that is it.